Hey guys, welcome to another commentary done by Diggity on behalf of StarCastTV. Up right in corner, we've got YamTube, aka Rush, starting as the brown Terran. Bottom right in corner, we got Soulkey starting as the white Zerg. This is going to be on Revolver, which I very much enjoy as a map. If you guys have not seen it in some time, you've got the natural expansion, and then kind of these odd engagement points from the natural expansion, which make it pseudo-defensible, but pseudo not. And then you've got the base. Let's go ahead and zoom out. You've got the third nearby. No man's land otherwise. Sometimes players will move up into the third here with the two ramps. Just the architecture of it is such where you have the... I should actually point that out. You've got kind of the interior alleyway and then the... Or I should say the interior towards the... I feel like I'm making weird... You've got the outside alley and then you've got the inside area that you can see on the minimap there. I'll show it on this map here. So you got these lanes and then you got kind of the exterior lanes that you can walk through, which just make it really, really interesting for troop movement, for interesting troop play. I don't know how much of we're going to see that though with Soulkey here. Soulkey, one of those more defensive players, he's opened up with a 9 pool and he's going up against Rush. And Rush is one of those, this is actually, I think, one of those marquee matchups where it's just the play styles make for interesting games, where you have Soulkey, who is like that Iron Shield, versus Rush, who's that sharpest spear sort of thing, where, you know, immovable object and unstoppable force sort of action. Rush absolutely lives up to his name. I'm not sure what shape he's in right this second, but did come in second place in ASL Season 14. I will not give spoilers for the most recent season of ASL. You're going to have to look it up yourself. Looks like he's going to send out an STV scout. And uncharacteristically, though I'm used to, on 4-player maps, almost as a rule, Soulkey opening up for 12 hatch, but this time creating some variation and going for a pool opener. Go figure. And some Zerglings to start. Maybe because he's a little bit concerned with some sort of early shenanigans with Marines and movement. We do have an SCV making its way out to go for, oh, and this is potentially was going to get punished. So Overlord spotted there, a bunker being constructed, the Zerglings on the way. This SCV trying to create some time and blockade. We do, and he sees the hatchery timing to note that this is in fact a hatch opener. SCV going to scramble back to the main. We do have a Marine waiting, so should be able to get in there. And the SCV is going ahead and blockading that ramp so they can't go for a run by. This might have been the play. Still going to try to sweep in and find a gap. Marine waiting on the high ground. Soulkey able to get an SCV, but not a lot else, and expending 3 Zerglings for the effort. So I was talking about... So here I was opening up and talking about Soulkey's defense, but pretty solid defense there by Rush. Now plopping in command center to follow, and he's got an eyeful with the gas timing. This is going to be a later layer than usual with all of the early openings. Hatchery just about complete. Layer now about the 320 mark. Zerglings scrambling back around to go ahead and try to catch. One advantage, though, for Soulkey is he does have that Overlord somewhat nearby, and he can maybe move it up, get some additional information. Positioning. That is one awkward thing I got to say with revolvers is like Overlord positioning and the ability to see your opponent's troop count. That Zergling, a hero, has 2 kills already, managed to dispatch that SCV in the main. He's tasted SCV blood, and he likes it. But anyway, another SCV moving out for Rush. He wants to keep eyes out. 3 Marines in the bunker. We do have that second Rax play, so it looks like we're seeing 2 Rax Academy style. I've seen, and usually that's that early pressure play with a couple medics, make a storm at the front, try to force some sunken colonies. Oddly enough, on this map, on other maps, I've seen Soulkey defend that with a single sunken colony, just miraculously. I would not be shocked if he could do that here just because of the low ground to high ground, and with sufficient Zergling pressure, maybe sneak it out. Looks like Rush trying to see if a third base was grabbed, but it is going to be that 2.5 hatch, interior third base, which has become much more popular amongst Zerg. Maybe in response to the Valkyrie builds. I'm not sure the entirety of it, but I think it might be just... Yeah, you can see that sunken colony a little bit forward so it can kind of hit units as they're moving up the ramp. But I feel like it's maybe more in response to wanting some more map control in the mid-game. You get a little bit more larva to work with. So you have some more units that you can create in the mid game, and then it becomes more a territorial control game. Zerglings scoping out, getting a swack at an SCV, but also taking a bullet in the face, but getting a good look at least some Marine reinforcements. A third barracks being plopped down immediately after the initial grouping of Marines here, and let's see if they start storming out. Second creep colony is being dropped preventatively. SCV is trying to sneak up, wanted to get a good look at it, maybe save a comsat. Instead, the comsat, I believe, being expended there on the front. And second colony being dropped. Here come the medic Marines storming their way across to Zergling, shadowing their movements a bit. This should be sufficient, but it's going to be close, actually. Yeah, now, yeah, you can just see where that ramp and the eggs make it a little bit harder to breach in. So lose one of their fellow comrade in arms and just gonna go ahead and exit out from there. But now the work for Soulkey is, okay, you got the 3 hatches, you got the Mutalisk grouping. Can you slow down Russia's economy, and can you establish an additional base? Russia immediately moving back to the main in more of a defensive posture. He's got the 3 barracks up. Engineering bay working towards +1 weapons. In range, not that far from finishing. Some Zerglings trying to hunt out and see if they can track down that medic Marine army. The SCV, or sorry, another Marine active. It's going to engage a single Zergling there in that bottom left-hand corner, but again, wanting to find potential locations. That medic Marine army has been grouped, and let's see if Soulkey opts to engage that, or if he, with them out of position, if he's going to engage the natural. Looks like able to pick off an SCV there. Now we know the answer. Pressing into the main, a single Zergling actually walking up into the corner, helping with that turret destruction. 8 Mutalisks moving up, and the Rush actually wanting to apply a second grouping, but that's the same grouping of medic Marines, is going to force the sunken colony out of that. Some drones on a miss rally getting wiped out between point A and point B, though. Mutalisk losing its life there. But a lot of Marines have been wiped out, and a lot of SCVs have actually been chunked down to where the worker count's actually fairly close. The Zergling did kill that Marine in the bottom left-hand corner. Actually, looks like it was on a move command, so got a free kill overall. More Mules grouping up. We have 3 sunken colonies on the front, which we might be able to see Crazy Zerg right here. Although, oftentimes you'll see Crazy Zerg off a third base grab. Evolution Chamber being dropped. Spire upgrading that weapons halfway. It looks like another Mutalisk was expended. The Marines making their way back. +1 weapons not that far from researching. Another Marine making its way to bottom left. This time, still going to lose its life. That Zergling is a hero, has 2 kills. He tasted Marine blood and liked what he tasted, so enjoys being fed additional units. Rush again positioning out, hopefully to catch some Mutalisks on, and yeah, just trying to close down the surface area. Getting a nice kill. Lost a slew of Marines, though, on that spread fire attack. Ooh. And Soulkey now wandering out. Looks like he's going to try to grab that base. Is he going to go for that base in the bottom left? We've seen constant Marines make their way that direction for Rush. It looks like, yeah, and this is what I talk about with that 2.5 hatch. You can just have a little bit larger an army. I think right the second Rush hunting with the Zerglings and Mutalisks want to try to wipe out this attack force to alleviate pressure on an additional base grab. Rush stimming and trying to retreat to that high ground, wants to preserve troops, but getting caught right now. Now engaging. And it looks like Soulkey is going to be able to wipe that attack force out. Loses a couple Mules for his effort. The Marines re-engaging without medic support. I think before the medics are able to group up, going to reposition. 5 factories, double starport being dropped to get those science vessels in flight. Hatchery produced bottom left-hand corner. But keep in mind that Hydro Sten has been skipped. +1 Carapace and that Hive being upgraded. So this is... not sure what officially makes something Crazy Zerg and officially not, but this is kind of showing it here. The immediate move to Hive. Skipping that Hydro Sten in between. Rush pushing out with this attack army, and this is much more sizable than the last 2 attack groupings, but more Mutalisks taking flight. This is kind of the, oof, and actually very measly drone count. It's been stuck at near that 27 mark for quite some time. So Rush with the health economy, going to lose that turret. That's going to expose the barracks. The starport being spotted. It looks like some additional attacks going to happen. Marine scrambling bottom left. Let's see if that draws Soulkey back out of position. Maybe he's happy. Yeah, he canceled that hatchery bottom left. It is going to try to... Now he needs to just devastate the SCV lines. And devastating the SCV lines he is. Wow. Completely emptying the main. The SCV's retreating to that natural to get a better position. And the command center full on lifting off now for Rush. Using the bouncing glaive off the supply depot to get some bonus Marine kills. With that +1 weapons finished, also getting that supply depot out. Rush now in the red, and some more Zerglings streaming forward for Soulkey. Looks like they're going to be repelled by the Marines there that were already staged at the natural. Marines going to wait there bottom left. It looks like they picked off that drone on location. Hive Tech is finished. We've got Hydralistan and a Defiler Mound dropping. So it looks like it's, rather than transitioning to late game Ultralisk, it's going to be, especially with the guest deprivation, it might be a Hydralisk Defiler combo. Interesting play. Some Zerglings sweeping in. This is only Marines and a single medic, but still might be a challenge for these. They do have +1 Carapace, though, which makes this a little bit of a better fight. Just barely not going to complete it. So the second sweep of Zerglings, wow, 8 kills on that Marine. He wanted all the kills, but while that was happening, continue ransacking of the main by Soulkey. In that period of time, Soulkey built 3 drones and wiped out 12 to 15 SCVs. And additional Marines on top of it. Finally, an Irradiate being dropped. Ooh, not the best split. Little bit of a later base take. It looks like the Marine is going to confirm that that base is being grabbed. Defiler Mound's up, working on Consume. Lurker Tech also being upgraded. The Mutalisks maybe going to find a way to be active, but at this stage it's 2 base versus 2 base. Science vessels in the air, but supply count lead overall to Soulkey. Still down a handful of workers, but Soulkey's Mutamicro, just incredible. Slew of Zerglings and some Scourge waiting. This is actually where I feel like that +1 weapons really helps them survive and be a little bit more effective, particularly when you get that Adrenal upgrade, which I'm not sure whether that's completed or not. We'll see as they engage along this eastern spoke. Science vessels crawling forward. Zerglings trying to test the edge. It looks like they're gonna get us around. The Mutalisk moving in as well. A Radiate happening over the Marine line. And Soulkey looks like he's going to be able to wipe this army off the face of the planet. Might get an SCV, sorry, a Science Vessel kill as well. Probably will not be able to get 2, though. Medic's going to get wiped out as well, isolated out. Some Firebat storming forward, trying to protect, actually able to save 4 of them. That's actually pretty big win there. Defiler's now out. Lurker Tech finished, so it looks like it is going to be Defilerling Lurker in the late game for Soulkey. Bottom left-hand base, Nidus Canal halfway constructed, extractor being generated, some drones walking via land. Look like they're going to be intercepted by that Marine Firebat attack force. Zerglings with that Defiler out of position to engage. Nidus Canal, immediately Lurkers flooding through. Is this going to be sufficient, though? Dark Swarm dropped. The Marines positioning away. Lurker able to get under that Dark Swarm. One of them burrowed. Second one waiting. The Firebats have been picked off. Can't remember what there's that Hawkeye. The Marine's going to wait in that back corner while some Zerglings swarm in. The Mutalisks wiped out now. Looks like the rest of that attack force is going to be cleared out by the Zergling Lurkers. So now Soulkey holds. More Firebats moving their way out, and Rush actually in a spot of trouble here. Even on workers, behind in supply by a 1 count. Not a lot of Science Vessels out in the air. He's got a 2 count right here. Sorry, 3. He's got 3 out there. And Defiler Tech is finished. Ultralisk Caverns being dropped now that that 3rd gas is in place. An SCV wandering out, looks like, for Rush to maybe grab an additional expansion. Let's see if these Zerglings find it. They're running parallel to that army. Rush again trying to move. We got 3 stacked Lurkers. Soulkey bravely moving this drone down to go ahead and try to take this lower base, but immediately having to cancel it. an initial radiate to soften up the lurker lines, but Rush doesn't like what he sees. He might be in a position where, honestly, he might need to just shove up this. Maybe drop a defense matrix to try to make it happen. Nice irradiate and a plague catching 2 of the science vessels, but missing most of that medic marine army. More Zerglings filtering through the Nidus Canal, and Rush repositioning with some more marines towards the front, but he's not stopping the gas flow. Worker lead to Soulkey overall. Gonna reposition, maybe go for an attack along that southern alley towards the main. This is what I wanted to. That's why I wanted to point it out. The early stages of the matches. Rush has the sizable army, but man, there's a lot of sunken colonies there. A lot of sunken colonies there. Rush still positioning up, hasn't yet taken his third. Some Zerglings finding that army, the lower position. Spore Colony actually taking out that factory a little bit. But Ultralisk upgrades starting to construct, which means Ultralisks are not that far behind. 2 additional macro hatches dropping bottom left. Science Vessel plopping down, just meandering in, taking out a Defiler, no big deal. You know, doing Science Vessel things. The Science Vessel count has increased. Soulkey now moving onto the low ground, eating some irradiates as he goes, but Rush with a 30 supply lead needs to deny this base. He honestly needs to take out that third before Soulkey's able to start fielding some Ultralisks here, and that gas is getting really, really high for him. Just now grabbing his third. His main pretty thin on minerals. Scouting out that 3 o'clock location, making sure that no additional base take. Done very good job. Ooh, some Zerglings getting plagued alongside everything else. Gonna swing back in, gonna force another canceled hatchery, it looks like. In the bottom left. Maybe not. Soulkey holding it. More Zerglings swarming in. They have that +2 Carapace upgrade. There are Firebats in tow, and keep in mind, Firebats negate that, and that is a hatchery kill. So able to take out some solid resources. Also the ramp, not defended currently, able to walk right in. So Rush, despite being behind in workers, able to get into the main, kill some drones. Ultralisks now making the way through. Maybe that's what caused Soulkey to pull his foot off the gas pedal a little bit. He's like, okay, finally got the Ultralisks out, I'm safe, but apparently not. The Marines pulling away. Massive science vessel fleet now at the 8 count, but main mostly mined out. And Soulkey starting to sweep across, wipe out these attack forces. That's 5 Carapace on those Ultralisks. Level 3 weapons, however, on the Marines. Level 2 armor. It looks like these 2 Ultralisks without the Defiler support going to be wiped out. And again, the Marine army able to breach that bottom left. If Rush can take out this bottom left-hand base, he'll be in a fine position. Looks like he wants to fly in, go for an eraser trick. Scourge pushing into position. Not a lot of drones taken out with that, and that science vessel expending its life at that for 1 drone. Don't think that was a worthwhile trade. Rush does have the base up and running, it looks like, at the 1 o'clock position. Doing a great job of pushing Soulkey out of his own natural. Going for another eraser trick. Scourge able to wipe that out rapidly. And the Ultralisk now a ball of radiation and violence starting to careen forward. And we might see it. Yeah, you can see Rush fleeing away, wanting to try to avoid yet another plague. So exiting. Some Zerglings and Ultralisks able to get into the 1 o'clock. Looks like they're not able to get a lot of kills here. But still, Soulkey, bit by bit, starting to take down the science vessels and sneak out on the map. Science vessel count now down to 5. Again, defiantly trying to drop that hatchery in the bottom left. The Marine's going to sweep in again, force another cancellation potentially. Ultra sweeping down. No, I take it back. This time looks like Soulkey is going to be able to establish it. Also, that Marine army getting pinned from behind by the Zerglings. And now Soulkey with only 3 science vessels in the air. Actually, I take that back. 5 science vessels in the air. Still in firm control of this match. Supply counts are even. Usually means Zerg is in a fine position. And critically, he's going to be able to establish that 4th gas. More Zerglings streaming out, and this is the gas depleted, however, so that is going to be critical that this gas establishes itself rather rapidly, because gas is the bloodline of any Zerg army. Soulkey sending out a couple exploratory attack forces to the top right. Keep Rush honest. His main basically mined out. His natural expansion looking somewhat thin. Should be mined out in another minute or two. So he's going to be down to just the single base. Ultralist re-engaging. Defiler there somehow. Maybe walking out with an Irradiate. Science Vessel count has resurged. So Rush not quite out of it yet. He's behind in worker count. He doesn't have quite a strong economy. He needs to stop this bottom left-hand base or get a kill somehow. He does have a massive Science Vessel fleet. Another Irradiate dropped on these Ultralists. They're just going to try to trail and hug that army, do as much damage as possible. But look at the units that are starting to scramble out for Soulkey. Was that an Irradiate on a Scourge? I think it was. Science Vessel low on health right there. +1 claws. Finished. Yeah, and Soulkey feeling comfortable enough where he's just going to send the attack troopings out before they're anywhere near that natural expansion. Defensive Spore Colony out in the front, some additional Scourge, some Zerglings sweeping through. They're going to be able to find some reinforcements. I think there were more headed towards that 1 o'clock base, but cutting off reinforcements between A and point B. Science Vessel is getting picked off as they're encroaching a little bit too far. I think Rush wants to take this western angle, actually dropping Irradiates on Scourge here. Wanting to take the western angle rather than that northern angle to this expansion. Still just mining on that one base. He's done an incredible job considering how starved for resources he's been. I have to say, 20 supply lead. Once again, another Science Vessel is getting wiped out, and this is just turning into a supplementary follow-up for Soulkey. He's got his 4 bases up and running. He just needs to get enough gas to have a sufficient amount of defilers out. Sending some Zerglings streaming out in the field. Again, being engaged by some troops in between. Marines stimming and unstimming. Not much of an army, but now Zerglings swarming across the map. Rush looks like he might want to go for a counterattack at the natural to try to pull Soulkey back. Maybe go for a breach right there. No Defiler with this army, but this is a lot of Zerglings alongside that Ultralisk. Firebats sweeping in to try to clear out those attack forces. Not quite able to, and now Rush pressing in, was able to take out that Nidus Canal. But the Medic Marines plagued on the front, and that base shut down by Soulkey, and that will basically be it. As Rush has no minerals left. Well, he's got a little bit of mineral left. They're redropping, actually able to clear out. But you got another attack moving out, and he's not really harvesting at great efficiency, is behind in supply. Needs to shove in another attack just to keep Soulkey off that base. The Firebat's actually stepping forward to try to blockade the Zergling attack follow-up. Science Vessel's looking to try to go for another eraser trick here, bottom left. Looks like Soulkey is going to be able to respond to it. Upgraded Burrow to deal with it. And now, with that, another assault making its way to the 1 o'clock position. 8 Marines to try to defend against a slew of Zerglings and this Ultralisk. Counterattack with some defense matrix this time. Bottom right-hand side from Rush. Another Plague dropped. Double Irradiates as well, but with that, Rush having his 1 o'clock base swarmed and recognizing he's not going to breach bottom right. Gonna call GG right there. Fun game all the way around. Good fighting. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for listening.